Hey, what's up? Thank you for joining me on my channel. It's just Lissa here. So today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, self-love. What is it and how do we find it? Okay, so self-love, what is it? What is it? Well, if we look at the dictionary's definition of self-love, it's kind of very simple. It's a regard for our own well-being and self-happiness, our own happiness. Self-love, as you can see, does not have any other people in the equation. There's no other factors except ourself. It does not include the love you have from your mother, your father, your sister, your husband, your girlfriend, your wifey, none of that. When we talk about self-love, it all has to come from within, for us, by us, ourselves. No one else can give it to you. That's the thing. Self-love, it can't be given to you. You have to have it, right? Yeah. So now we've come to the place where we realize that self-love is a separate action that we do alone. So moving on to the next phase of thinking about this self-love, what does it mean to be alone? Maybe we can start at the place of what does it mean to be single? So to be single means to be separate. It means to be an individual away from a group. That's what being single means. So let's go to what single does not mean. Single does not mean that you're half, looking for your other half. It's an individual, a whole person. So if you are single and you are feeling like you are half and you need someone to complete you, that means you gotta do more work with the self-love. Because an individual should be complete, and we are not halves. We are not pieces waiting to find someone else to fulfill us. What should be fulfilling us is self-love, right? Finding our own happiness, satisfying our happiness, having a high regard for our well-being, those are things we need to do to achieve self-love. So being alone and lonely in the process of finding self-love and being single, if you do find yourself single in that process, does not mean that you're broken and waiting for someone to fulfill you. It means that you need to do a little bit more work. What am I saying? People don't belong in relationships? No. Not saying that at all. Relationships should comprise of at least two whole people coming together, complementing one another. Not two broken halves. Not two broken halves. So here we are. We talked already about the self, the focus on self, what it means to be single, to be separate. But what about the love part? What about the love part? What is it? Well, if we want to talk about self-love, we just got to go back to what is love. Go back to the basics. Go all the way back to the foundation. What is love? And what does love do? So love, for one, let's talk about the first thing. It protects. Love protects. Far too often, the person that we need to protect ourselves from is ourselves. It's ourselves. Because we spend more time with ourselves than we do and will with any other person in this world. We spend more time with ourselves, thinking about ourselves, saying things in our heads about ourselves, and we can't help it. We have thoughts. When you walk into that meeting, what are you saying? Are you telling yourself you got this, you can do this? Or are you telling yourself that you're just gonna mess it up? When you walk into that exam, are you telling yourself, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I can do this. I am capable. Are you telling yourself another thing I messed up even before you even had a chance to get it started? What are we saying to ourselves? Are we looking in that mirror and just picking out every flaw? You don't like your eyes, you don't like your nose, you don't like your smile, or are you uplifting yourself, telling yourself you're beautiful? Because sometimes no one else is going to tell you. You got to tell yourself. So the things we say to ourselves are thoughts. They will either tear us down or lift us up. How are you protecting yourself from yourself? How? And this one's a hard one. Forgiving ourselves. Because there's no love without forgiveness. And sometimes it's easier for us to forgive that girlfriend, that boyfriend, our mother, our fathers, anyone that has done us wrong, our best friend. But when it comes to ourselves now, we're stingy with the forgiveness. We're there giving out forgiveness like it's a free giveaway to everyone else. But when it comes to ourselves, we're there holding on to the baggage, holding on to the hurt and not letting it go. This is the thing. If you're gonna practice self-love, you gotta forgive yourself. You gotta let it go, because those burdens will weigh you down and stand in the way of your joy. If you want joy, if you want happiness, if you want to feel loved by yourself, for yourself, you gotta let it go. You gotta shake it off and say, you know what? I too deserve forgiveness. I too am worthy of forgiveness. Forgiveness, forgive yourself. Let it go, let it go. Love is patient, and love does not judge. So what does that mean for self-love? Does that mean that we walk around feeling good about everything about ourselves and we don't try to make any changes? No, that is not what that means here. It means we can look at our flaws and love ourselves enough to be patient with ourselves and love ourselves through the process of change. We're not sitting there beating ourselves up for the flaws, but we can recognize that they're there. We can accept that they're there, and we can move towards change in a patient, loving, supportive way of ourselves. So we can, for example, look in the mirror. Maybe you want to lose a little weight. You're overweight. You're chubby. Okay, what's up? What are you going to do about it? You going to beat yourself up for it? Or you going to look in the mirror and love yourself and love the effort you put in? And as you're making the changes to move towards a healthier lifestyle, love yourself, cheer yourself on, be your biggest cheerleader. Every time you make a little change, every time you have a little bit of success, cheer yourself on, make it a positive situation. Don't look down on yourself, because love does not judge. Love appreciates. So instead of judging yourself for the flaw, appreciate yourself for the effort. So what now? Now that you know all these things about self-love, what are you going to do about it? What's going to change? First, we're going to practice being non-judgmental. Because self-love means we're going to be patient in this process. We're not going to be judgmental. We're going to be kind with ourselves. And we're going to start appreciating the effort that we put in to achieve this self-love. Because self-love does not happen overnight. It takes practice. It takes times when you fall down and you have to get yourself back up and remind yourself that things are different now. Now we love ourselves and we're going to practice self-love. And it takes time. And eventually one day you wake up and you're just saying positive things to yourself. You're just putting yourself first all of a sudden. You're protecting yourself and you're like, wait, who's that girl? And it's you. Who's that person? It's you. And you're doing it. So don't give up. Keep practicing. You yourself are worthy of love just like anyone else. And who's better can give it to you than yourself, you know? Self-love. Just Lissa here. Thank you for joining me on my channel. If you like this video, like and subscribe below. Peace out.